A problem leads to expression with enough results over calculation for tracks and curves near each level. We're not fluent to verification in universal treatments of generalization, and natural ingredients aren't the whole case. Gamers are fluent in relation to meaning for true communications within reach of human contact upon a grip to pressing management. Our readers' constant answers to my literature frequently irritate my patience. When the pages of literature serve one's mind, understanding remains for limits of exposure between eyes and ink. Volumes of music act like growth to relaxation and wonder just for the gamer, as the skateboarder would obviously be terrifically active. Words should be your vocal tender of meaning under body and digestion. Tony Hawk gets madcap. War and games can't be the same. World War II is not World Game 2. You have to be deliberate to combat in a conflict, which doesn't really include any games. So if a game makes you wild and crazy, it's not so much of a plaything. This PS4 game shouldn't make you really intense since the design is well and good. Yes, characters on TV might be enraged, but that doesn't mean you're hopeless, I hope, especially when they're related for parents and most children. First, gamers will say, "It's challenging and fun to play." Then gamers will say, "It's difficult and not very fun." Do these fools suppose that challenge and difficulty are two entirely different faculties in the elements? Difficulty doesn't always lead to challenge. However, challenge always leads to difficulty.
Every habit involves the past with great impact. The force of habit becomes a pastime. So, gullible fashionistas refuse to ever have a habit in anything. Look out for Taxi. He'll run you over. A guy who attacks both good guys, bad guys, just a good guy is really just a greater bad guy. Waste your scientific personal. If it's not personal, it's not art. When you multiply emotions by reasons, there's no precision in dealership. How do you comprehend bondage of mindless activity? That's not possible. Quality has connection between propelled taste of exhibition and their morals for improvement. For those readers looking for more exact information, I must ask that you don't get so curious and wild over my review. TV can be worse than exercise, right? Well, you can take a walk for free. You can go on a jog for free. You can start running for free with just healthy food and water or energy drinks on top. TV? What about TV? To watch anything on TV, you'll probably have to pay for it. Working 5 times a week doesn't cost $1,000 in American cash, but you might pay that for video games. You think and say you wonder and eat, but language and taste become irrational since we have internal and external sensitive ideas. So, is the candy sweet, or do I have the word sweet on my mind while eating candy?
Speaking and talking reveal different effects. The first action is next, the second action is back. Most people just have usual needs and common desires. Tony Hawk isn't like most people. There isn't always a better version for an old retro game. At times the original is all we have. I'm a writer. I see reality before me, write about it, and send my text to you with philosophy. You're reading my ideas. However, you only have my text and don't see the reality before me. A reader must be very blind for the writer's eyesight. Why do businesses include extras and labels for them what you need Don't knock my lines and cut them into wasteful derangement of significance. It's a good old home for some electronics from the past. It's not just about having the right answer. You also need to have experience enough for the right answer before having it for reassurance. My experience from this Tony Hawk game is more of an occupation than a cat or a dog's on general principle. A human like me understands what it means to sit down and play a game. But despite this, my dog often barks at me when I do because he doesn't understand entertainment. And lots of passages, there were humans who also didn't understand entertainment. And some guys today still don't know it well enough.
A false sense in skateboarding is like eating food before it's cooked. It's raw, uncool, very green, and full of bones. Some descriptions in my review aren't nothing but more than cliches. You can internet lower color TV to an extent for Tony Hawk in preparation for slippy wheels against roadways. In my mind, if a player didn't say the game, he or she didn't beat the game, do you think every beautiful object is a work of art? Well, I hate to disappoint you. No, anger isn't always a fact. Emotions are only proof as far as they're concerned, and even the wording can be terrible preoccupation. Man can suggests a bite for protection of utilities. No! Against electric virtue with an elusiveness and computer literacy. Every ounce fleet in the gizmo wears away by the surf under sudden pops of explosive colors or choices indicated by the government. Is it just me, or does Tony Hawk here have some small arms and short legs? What a cute little man! I can chase a skateboard by switching between shells and cavities in the forms of boards and wheels. The surprise of good guys and bad guys can improve a gamer's hearing and purpose of dispute with sensible and logical in a crazy fashion. Curiosity doesn't always improve a gamer's creativity. In fact, depending on where circumstances are located, the wonder and imagination can damage a player's attempt for mercy and despicable behavior. Digital content has way to publishers and often talk about credit or status. Most rap is an educational don't about grammar. Typically, a school rewards you for good grammar, not for ringing bells and turning off guardrails. Can you divide your substantial titles noteworthy or for gaming and patience? Because the cost of fortune to discover it's not exactly logical to support private apartments and early active communities all at once. Duh! Tricks get hard to regulate, and my left thumb handles both direct and pendant thumbstick along the edge of confusion of wild animals. Some ghettos have public treasures while others burning off the notice for disaster. We can push buttons and not execute most moves just yet. Privacy is extended upon disappearance and controls for the game are independent functions, and depending on their insanity over the gears, uniforms and targets, within mazes and labyrinths near city lights, it's possible to exit from Sony's shopping channel with the silent order and not feel like giving much input for reading feature presentations. Some music is only good if you want to pay death with playing ears, which I don't think used to. Cars seem immersed when the drivers aren't in any worse. Be careful with politics. Unlike educational teachers, political activists don't want the reality to be indefinite. You have a skateboarding athlete. Within a hurry, the earliest damage appears to be the shortest. The skateboarders draw a volume in close proximity disturbance and stack warfare. Not every click or push of a button is really fixed. Sometimes I do special moves by mistake. Sometimes I crash and land here by mistake. Your controller is the arbor during such help of personality. Some folks don't like the poor words in art. Thing is, their opposition against bad words is the very reason why some works of art include very foul language. Even for young ones, it may create drama, it may create intensity, since when has Tony Hawk become Batman? I'm tired. This isn't always regular. Professional skateboarding also, but in unreal fashion, acrobatics try the impossible. Woo, woo, woo. There's plenty of bumps and cracks in my gameplay, and like Bart Simpson said in that old Fox cartoon, I can do that, but I don't wanna. My game has very
hard outreach in design and the functions given mysteries until regions out of this world and full of goals are outrageous, frustrating, and ridiculous. Our world of gamers can have this bad habit of challenging themselves for entertainment and pain, fun and frustration. A situation that could be the cornerstone for intensity. Why would someone be so happy about pain and suffering? Oh, you waited. A common man isn't a hero for being popular. In fact, by definition, he's not a hero at all, even if he becomes popular. Why aren't other common men who are just like him popular also? For every popular common man, there's a million other unpopular common men who have the same arms, the same legs, the same ideas, with nothing much else except normal, everyday behavior the public is too much of. Don't be personal enough to miss identity.
Actors are misfits. People make generalizations to lie about specific individuals most of the time. It's as if they don't want to really face these specific individuals directly, so they isolate themselves, give generalizations about humanity, and say they're humans like everybody else. But they're not participating. Have any of these creeps even seen a skateboarding show? And these gamers call themselves philosophy? Ha ha! Players have such disparity of chance within reach of loss. You appear what I'm not, I appear what you're not. Big freaking deal. Treats are too impossible for philosophical standards. We'll need some poetry for this.
Discussion of unneeded material isn't very philosophical, and the impossible content is exaggerated of sense. A fossil like this has lots of preservatives. If you hear cracks and groans,
someone needs exercise. Weight loss is a habit. It's not some sudden enchantment done in 2 minutes. Have a good one. Happy holidays.